My name is Xavier Davis, and I am the Associate Professor of Jazz Piano. So the piece that I'm going to play today is a piece called Precious Lord, Take My Hand. It was written by a man named Thomas A. Dorsey, and he's basically the grandfather of black gospel music. And he actually played secular music. He was a blues pianist with Bessie Smith, Ma Rainey, but he was also in the church. And so he was traveling. I think he was at a revival. He was performing at a revival, and his wife was pregnant, and he got a telegram that his wife and the baby died. I can only imagine how devastating that must be to have that happen, and his way of working through that was, partially this piece was just expresses what he was feeling. The words start, precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. And that can be used for a lot of different things when you're struggling with something. And so I see this as just a way of kind of dealing with that struggle. I chose that also because spirituality is really important, has been really important to the black community in trying to, not just for spiritual reasons, but also in mobilizing in a way of communicating. Going back to the slave times, it was very important. It was the one place where people felt somewhat free, and it's continued. As we look at many of the heroes in the African American community, Martin Luther King comes out of the church. Malcolm X comes out of the Islam, which is also spiritual. Reverend Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton, so many leaders that kind of mobilize the community come out of the church, and there's a long history of that. And so I think, regardless of what someone's religion is, just having some sort of spirituality or thinking of something greater than themselves helps in a social justice movement. And so that's how I chose this piece. I want people to feel that there is something greater than themselves, that the weight of the solution to the world's problems is not just dependent on our intellect, that there's something greater. However you get to that place, you can't really change people directly. We can maybe influence people, but I think there are forces greater than ourselves that can change people if we avail ourselves to them. I think the discussion that I would like this piece to start is, I want people to think, what can I do? And how can I use things that are greater than myself to influence the world in a positive way? How can I make a change? How can I change myself first before, how can I change you? How can I change me? I would say, check out a lot of the spirituals. His Eye is on the Sparrow, and it makes people realize that sometimes we feel small, and you're being taken care of, even though you may feel insignificant. Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, these are Amazing Grace. These are pretty well known. What's interesting musically about them is a lot of these spirituals and a lot of gospel music and a lot of blues, all of this is related. It uses a pentatonic scale, which is, if you just run your fingers across the black keys, that's a pentatonic scale. And since a lot of the slaves weren't taught formally how to play the piano, they could make songs with just the black keys, and it was, it's very musical. So you listen to a lot of music that was influenced by spirituals and blues and gospel, and there's a lot of pentatonics in there. There are so many great spirituals. If you just go down the canon, there's a lot of great music to research and to dig into. I think it's important for the College of Music at Michigan State to have a series like this, because people need to know that they're not alone. When you feel like there's support from an organization that you belong to, and that everyone may not be coming from the same place and understand all of the struggles that we each have, we recognize that we do have struggles, and there's feeling that support from your college or university is, I think, extremely valuable. For me, it's been valuable to see a lot of the people around the world fighting for the same things that I'm fighting for, and it gives you strength to continue, and you don't feel like, why am I doing this? If it's just me and 10 other people that feel this way, then it's never going to change. But you feel like a change can happen when a larger organization like MSU is behind it.